Historians had one answer for where the Huns came from: Mongolia. But ancient DNA just dismantled that theory. The year was 376. A Roman emperor stood on the banks of the Danube, watching thousands of Goths trying to cross. But they were not there to raid. They were there to beg. Behind them, somewhere on the open steppe, was the reason they had fled: the Huns. Roman writers struggled to describe them. Ammianus Marcellinus, a chronicler of the period, wrote of warriors who seemed to have no fixed origin, no settled customs, no home that could be located on any map. That mystery pulled scholars eastward. In the 18th century, French historian Joseph de Guigné made a connection. The Huns looked strikingly similar to the Xiongnu, a nomadic empire that once dominated the Mongolian steppe before collapsing under Chinese pressure. Mounted archers, nomadic tactics, confederate political structures. It was convincing enough to become the accepted explanation. For nearly 200 years, that consensus held. The Huns were Xiongnu descendants, driven west by defeat, arriving at Rome's frontier as a delayed but devastating wave from the Far East. There was always one crack in the theory. The Xiongnu Empire collapsed, and the Huns appeared on Rome's doorstep, roughly 2.5 centuries apart. No migration trail connected them. No source tracked a population moving steadily westward across Eurasia. Just a vast chronological silence, and historians had been filling it with assumption ever since. Then came the genomes. The Histogenes project, funded by the European Research Council, assembled one of the most comprehensive ancient DNA datasets ever collected. Teams across Europe and Central Asia extracted and sequenced genomes from Hunnic-period burial sites throughout the Carpathian Basin, the heartland of Hunnic power in the 5th century. The question was straightforward. Did these people come from Mongolia? The data said no, not exactly, not even mostly. Some individuals buried in Hunnic graves did carry East Asian ancestry. Haplogroup analysis connected a subset of high-status burials to northeastern Asian populations, with shared DNA segments long enough to indicate genuine genealogical ties to Xiongnu-linked lineages across multiple generations. The Eastern thread was real, but it belonged to a minority. The majority of individuals buried with Hunnic material culture, the bronze cauldrons, the horse gear, the Eastern-style weapons that archaeologists use to identify Hunnic sites, carried genomes that pointed somewhere else entirely. West Eurasian ancestry, Central Asian ancestry, genetic profiles that overlapped far more with local European populations than with anyone from the Mongolian plateau. Taken together, the burial record did not look like a transplanted nation. It looked like a confederation, peoples from different origins, different regions, different genetic backgrounds, organized under a single political structure. A nation moves and keeps its genetics intact. A confederation builds its genetics as it moves. This is the kind of story that only ancient DNA can tell, and this channel exists to tell it. Subscribing means you will be there for the next one. Some researchers push back. Genetic diversity in conquest-era cemeteries is exactly what you would expect when a dominant group rules over subjugated locals. The ruling class could be genetically Eastern, while everyone buried around them simply reflects whoever they conquered. Mixed graves do not automatically mean a mixed identity. That objection has weight. The individuals with the strongest East Asian genetic signal do tend to appear in wealthier burials. The genetic pattern roughly mirrors the burial wealth. But the pattern breaks down under closer examination. Western and mixed ancestry appears in high-status contexts too, not only among ordinary burials. And the East Asian signal among the elites does not point back to a single Mongolian source population. Multiple distinct Eastern steppe lineages are present, arriving at different times from different directions. That is not what you would expect from a single founding group that crossed Eurasia together. It is the signature of ongoing recruitment across generations. What the Histogenes data points toward is a mobile core of steppe elites, some carrying ancestry genuinely connected to the Xiongnu world, who built power not by replacing populations, but by absorbing them. Central Asian pastoralists, Western steppe warriors, Germanic fighters, local European communities, all folded into the same expanding network. Hunnic identity, in the end, was something you joined, not something you inherited. That realization resolves a paradox that troubled historians for a long time. Roman writers insisted the Huns were alien and incomprehensible. Yet within a generation of their arrival, Hunnic armies were filled with Germanic soldiers. Roman officers defected to serve under Hunnic commanders. The Confederation adapted to European diplomacy, European material culture, European political relationships with remarkable speed. A group that had always grown through incorporation would do exactly that. The graves confirm it. Some Hunnic burials are filled with steppe traditions, horse sacrifices, Eastern ornaments, nomadic grave layouts. Others are indistinguishable from local European burials of the same period. The archaeology and the genetics tell the same story from different angles. Attila died in 453. The cause, according to Roman sources, was a nosebleed on his wedding night. Within a decade, the Confederation had collapsed. Subject peoples broke away. The Gepids seized the Pannonian heartland. The name Hun disappeared from historical sources almost overnight. That speed of dissolution makes sense now. There was no common ancestry holding the structure together. No shared homeland to retreat to. Only the political center. And once that was gone, the constituent parts simply returned to what they had always been. Separate peoples with separate origins who had briefly orbited the same power. Sampling from Central Asian sites from the 2nd to 4th centuries remains limited. This is the gap between the Xiongnu collapse and the rise of the Huns. That is the missing chapter. Research teams are actively working in Kazakhstan and neighboring regions, and new genomes from that window will almost certainly reshape the picture further. What the evidence has already established is harder to set aside. The Huns were not a biological nation transplanted from Mongolia. They were a political process, a method of organizing steppe power that accumulated identity through movement, through allegiance, through the willingness of diverse peoples to fight under the same banner. Ammianus called them rootless, unknowable, without origin. He thought he was describing savagery. He was describing, without realizing it, exactly how a steppe confederation works. The question history cannot yet answer is what happened in those missing centuries. Between the steppe east and the Danube west, across a gap no chronicler recorded, something transformed a remnant of collapsed empire into the force that made Rome flinch. The genomes are getting closer to that answer. The silence, for the first time, is starting to speak.